Imagine this. You're at a cafe deciding between two desserts. One is $5, the other is $10. But suddenly the waiter says the $5 one is free. Which one would you pick? Odds are you'll go for the free option, even if the $10 dessert was your first choice. Strange, isn't it? Well, it turns out your decision wasn't logical at all. It was predictably irrational. In his groundbreaking book, Predictably Irrational, Dan Ariely uncovers the hidden forces behind our seemingly illogical decisions. From the magnetic pull of free to why we overvalue things we own, this book is packed with mind-bending insight. Stick around, because I'm about to share the real-world experiments and examples that reveal how your brain is tricking you every single day. Part 1, the irresistible power of free. Let's kick things off with a simple experiment. Ariely set up a table offering Lindt truffles for 15 cents and Hershey's Kisses for 1 cent. Most people chose the truffles, they're higher quality, right? But when he dropped the price of both by 1 cent, making the Hershey's Kisses free, most people switched to the Kisses. Why? The word free isn't just a discount. It's a psychological trigger that makes us irrationally excited, even if the free option isn't the best. Part 2, Anchoring and Relativity. Have you ever noticed how the first number you hear can shape your decisions? In an experiment, Ariely asked people to write down the last 2 digits of their social security number before bidding on items. Those with higher numbers consistently bid more, even though their SSN had nothing to do with the value of the items. This is called anchoring. Your brain latches onto the first piece of information it gets, no matter how irrelevant, and uses it as a reference point. And let's talk about relativity. Ever wonder why subscription services offer a bad deal option? In an Economist ad, there were 3 choices: online for $59, print-only for $125, and online plus print for $125. Most people picked the last option because the middle one made it look like a steal. This is how relativity tricks us. We don't choose based on absolute value, but on how things compare. Part 3, Ownership and Effort. Well, do we love things we've put effort into? Ariely calls this the IKEA effect. In one study, people valued furniture they assembled themselves much more highly than pre-assembled items. Similarly, in an experiment where participants built Lego models, those whose work was displayed felt more satisfaction and built more compared to those whose models were disassembled immediately. The same effect applies to ownership. At Duke University, students who won basketball tickets valued them at $2,400, while those who didn't win were only willing to pay $170. Once we own something, we overvalue it. It's no longer just an object, it's ours. Part 4, Social Norms versus Market Norms. Ever offered a friend money for a favor and noticed how it suddenly feels awkward? That's because money introduces market norms, replacing the warm, fuzzy world of social norms. Ariely demonstrated this by asking people to do tasks in exchange for pizza, money, or nothing. Surprisingly, people worked harder for pizza or nothing than for cash. Why? Social norms tap into a sense of community and purpose, while market norms make everything feel transactional. Part 5, Emotions and Self-Control. Let's talk about how emotions hijack our decisions. In a shocking study, young men were asked to answer questions about risky sexual behavior both when calm and when aroused. When aroused, their decision-making changed completely. They were far more likely to take risks they would never consider in a neutral state. This shows how emotions overpower logic, often leading us astray. And when it comes to procrastination, most of us can relate. Ariely asked students to choose deadlines for essays. Those with fixed deadlines performed the best, while those with complete freedom to set deadlines struggled. We think we want flexibility, but in reality, we need structure to keep us on track. Part 6. Cheating and Placebo Effects. Would you cheat if you knew you wouldn't get caught? Ariely found that people are more likely to cheat when the reward is indirect, like tokens instead of cash. Why? It feels less like real dishonesty. Now, here's a fun one. Did you know that the price of something can affect how well it works? In a study with painkillers, participants who took expensive placebo pills felt more relief than those who took cheap ones, even though both were fake. This is the placebo effect at work, where expectations shape reality. Part 7. Defaults and the hidden power of context. Here's a mind-blowing stat. Countries with opt-out organ donation policies have almost 90% participation rates, compared to countries with opt-in policies, which hover around 15%. This is the power of defaults. When faced with a choice, most people stick with the easiest option, proving that our environment often decides for us without us even realizing. What does all this mean for you? Predictably Irrational teaches us that our decisions are rarely logical. We're swayed by the lure of free, anchored by irrelevant numbers, and influenced by context more than we realize. But here's the good news. By recognizing these patterns, we can start to make better decisions. The next time you're tempted to overspend with a credit card, procrastinate on a deadline, or cling to something just because it's yours, pause. Ask yourself, is this my rational mind speaking, or is it one of those hidden forces Dan Ariely warned about? If you found this as fascinating as I did, give this video a like and subscribe for more deep dives into psychology, motivation, and the mysteries of human behavior. Let's uncover how our minds work together. See you next time.